Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my daily market analysis and insights show. Today, we're going to be covering the markets overall. We're going to be covering stocks, crypto, and commodities, and in particular, how the markets right now are a mixed bag. So, altcoins are pumping while Bitcoin is staying flat. And we're also going to be looking at Ethereum and how flows have been coming into Ethereum. The other markets I want to cover are gold and metals, right? With gold, I already predicted last week that we were going to see a drop, and now this week we have that recovery. I want to discuss gold and where I see the price of gold going. Then the S&P 500. The S&P 500 right now is going through a period where we might see a dip in the markets, especially with Nvidia. If there is some negative news from Nvidia on Wednesday, we could see a dip, and I want to cover that. And then finally, I want to go into the dollar and other commodities, as well as where smart money is flowing. So let's get straight into it. Let's talk about the markets and get into talking about the S&P 500. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. 100. Okay. As you can see here, we had a mixed bag yesterday with the S&P 500. Had Apple up, Google up, but with the large caps, we saw Nvidia down, and we saw a number of other ones not doing as well as they should. Netflix was up. Overall, a very, very mixed bag here. Shades of grey are all under 1%, so plus minus 1%. The green is over 1%, and the red is under 1%. So as you can see here, mostly green because we had a bit of a recovery here, S&P 500. And if we go into the next slide, you can see here a slight recovery on the bounce here, 5,900. And this was because there was a put wall around this area. It was very difficult for price to break below. Now, this is an area where I'm interested in, but I'm also interested in price going back down to 5,700. That'll be a nice area to buy moving upwards. I've discussed this over and over again, but we have 1.618 Fibonacci level here, and then we have Goldman Sachs prediction, which is around 6,300, and then overall likely extension based on the market momentum that will kick in post-election, so post-inauguration in the US. We would see this price move up to 1,700 or even higher. This week, though, what we're really watching in my community is Nvidia. Okay, there's also Target here, which is worth a look, with Target moving up a little bit higher. Earnings, I'm looking at trading Target in the next few days. I've shared that in my community for free on Telegram. You can join with the link below in the bio. Other ones I was looking at were these Chinese stocks of Baidu, and we had NIO. These are quite nice ones to look at. So with Chinese stocks probably seeing a recovery, and that's something I'm going to cover here later, it's worth looking at them on this bounce off this dip that they've achieved recently. So, but going into Nvidia, okay, I want to go and focus on Nvidia a little bit. Where do I think Nvidia goes? So we had this wedge that was developing between May, well, since the high of July, June, July, and then we had a bit of a fall in August, and then another dip in September. Since then, we've moved up to all-time highs again, and that's dragged the rest of the market higher. And it's been a ascending channel here. And I think usually what we see with an ascending channel is a break below. What I'm expecting here is probably a break to around 1.18, maybe even a bit lower, a retest of this zone here at 130, 120, and then that buy up again. And as you can see here, the momentum, the strength in Nvidia is quite low at the moment. Although we are moving higher. And I think if we could go all the way down to around 30 pre-December, then we can get a nice run in December, and then 2025 we can get a huge run up higher in Nvidia. But I'm a bit worried about Nvidia. This is something that I want to watch very carefully. I don't want to rush into Nvidia or the market in general. At the moment, I'm just looking at Nvidia as a pre-earnings analysis and trying to see where we can find support if it does dip, and where it could go if it goes higher. If it goes higher, we obviously go back to all-time highs around this 146 level, even higher, 160. Okay, so with big tech, one of the things I'm noticing is some weakness. And this chart compares big tech, so XLK divided by the SPY, so the S&P 500, and we can see here that it's not making new highs here. So it's not making higher highs. It was originally here making a few higher highs, and then now we're making a lower low potentially in the next few days. And the momentum is dying out in big tech. Now, this isn't necessarily a negative. Do see money circulating between sectors. It could be one of those situations where we're seeing money flowing from big tech into other sectors. One of those sectors is financials. And the other sectors I think will do well post-election, very similar to 2016. Small caps and medium caps. Industrials, financials have been doing really well. So regional financials in the US are doing really, really well. So regional banks, and so on. Materials and energy. These are the sectors that might do well and probably will do well moving forward. I've discussed this previously. I discussed this last week in depth. I've discussed it pretty much every single episode. Do a daily analysis. I've discussed that small caps are the play here with the Russell 2000 probably making a 40% gain in the next 12 months. That's something you guys have to watch out for and be on top of your game to be able to catch the momentum there. Okay. And when we look at the markets overall, the sentiment is very, very bullish. We saw the movement, these neutral players go into bullish. However, we're probably going to get a small dip, and then overall in the next 6 months, momentum will be bullish. Post inauguration in January, we'll probably see some significant momentum coming in into the new year. Okay, and now I want to go into crypto, Bitcoin. We know where Bitcoin is, and the likelihood of Bitcoin moving up higher is very high. I've discussed it previously, and you can go and watch some of my previous videos in the last few days and weeks, where I've discussed that Bitcoin is now probably going to go to 120 and even higher. And at the moment, it's in a consolidation phase. What's interesting to me, though, is initially we had the Bitcoin flows come in, and they came in way in advance prior to money flowing into altcoins. Then recently we've had money flows go into Ethereum. As you can see here on the 14th, the last week we had Ethereum kick off. And we've had a number of altcoins do very, very well. It seems to me like every day there is a new altcoin that's moving 10, 15%. These are opportunities I'm sharing every day on Telegram with my Telegram members. Telegram is completely free, so go and join. If you're interested in investing in crypto or even stocks, I provide ideas and analysis there every day. So go and check that out. But so with Ethereum, the flows are coming in, and this is something I want to cover now. A little bit later with my market analysis and the charts that we're going to be looking at in altcoins and crypto overall. But as you can see here, flows, heavy outflows, August, September, and then inflows came in aggressively at the end of October, November, post-election, again, that Trump pump in crypto. The dollar is another asset that I am currently analyzing. So I'm looking at the dollar. As you can see here, the seasonal movements of the dollar, see that during election years, usually we see a move down in the later weeks of the year. So at the moment, if we look back at the charts, you can look at the charts in my previous videos, or you could just wait here and watch the rest of the video where I discuss the dollar. It's now very, very high, and I'm expecting some downside momentum here post-election, post-inauguration. Around late December, maybe early January, we will start seeing that dip in the dollar coming in, and the opportunities there are to trade the euro, to trade the yen, to trade the pound. So those are this is something that I'm looking at, and I am watching very, very carefully as an opportunity in the market. In terms of looking at the overall broader picture and looking at some statistics and data, now I want to go into the charts and I want to discuss. First of all, I want to go into stocks. I want to go into the S&P 500 and give you guys some level, and then look at the Nasdaq, Russell 2000, and European stock, which I think will do really, really well in the next few months after this dip in the market. So let's go straight into the S&P 500 for the chart to load up. And As you can see here with S&P 500, very similar setup, very similar movement in price at the moment, very flat here. Bit of a rebound on this level. And if we draw a support area box here, this was a key support here. Okay. The next level that I'm looking at is around this area where you see previous resistance and previous support. This, if it comes around this area, I think the institutions are going to buy aggressively. And this is what I'm kind of anticipating here, based on everything that I'm seeing. I think, I can't see the price moving aggressively higher here, although it can. I don't like the ascending wedge. I think it's very bearish, or at least in the short term, with price coming back down to 5,700 and then we go higher. Again, guys, I am in a trade and I'm in multiple trades that will benefit from the price moving higher, so I will be taking advantage. It's just, me analyzing the market and thinking, where can it go and where would I like it to go? And then if it does go to that level, what would I do? And this is what I'll be discussing in the next few minutes. Okay, so if we go to the NASDAQ, we saw an uptick in the NASDAQ, again, very small here. And with the NASDAQ, it looks a little bit different. We recently got an all-time high. And I think, again, with the levels, if it does go down further, we get the 19,600 here as a key level, which is a key level for support and resistance previously. 2,000 is another one that I'm looking at in depth, especially considering that I think money will flow into small caps post-inauguration. And I predict a 40% move or even higher in the Russell 2000 in the next few months or even year. I think probably 2025, I think we're going to do around 40% with Russell 2000. We've seen it previously happen here with elections in 2016 and 2020. And I think we're going to see something very similar. This is something I covered last week. And I told you that it will move higher into that 16 or 15 range. It's exactly what it's done recently. So I covered it last week and I said the VIX is going to move higher with the S&P 500 moving lower, especially around these levels. The VIX is looking low and I predicted around 15, 17. That's exactly where we are now. We can even go as high as 19. If we go as high as 19 or 20, we're going to get that dip to 5,700. It's almost guaranteed in my opinion, but let's see. Let's look at alternative markets. Let's look at the Chinese market. What I predict will do really well after this dip and retracement to the midpoint of the Fibonacci and near the 0.618 level of the Fibonacci. So this is what I'm looking for here. Probably a 1 to 4, maybe a more 1 to 5 trade once momentum kicks in. We're going to get a nice 1 to 4 risk reward ratio trade here. I will be trading specific stocks in the Chinese sector. And that'll be stocks such as NIO, Li, Baidu, Baba. Okay, that's what I'm looking for, and I'll be talking about those in a bit. European markets, I think we're seeing further downside here. I mentioned throughout the week that the German market is due a correction all the way down to 18,200. That's exactly what we're seeing, and we're seeing the same thing with the French index CAC 40. A huge dip here in the European markets. Again, probably a double bottom here. This is what I'm looking for. A huge move on the German market here because of those political issues that it's having at the moment. So huge opportunities will be coming here with the European markets, in my opinion. Companies like Bayer and so on that are probably going to do exceptionally well after this dip. I'll be looking at the Chinese market also, something to watch out for. Okay, so good moves here. We like a nice dip. We like a nice fall in the markets. FTSE 100, I expect it to come back down to 7,900. That's the level that I'm looking at for potential buy. And this will be with the overall European market and S&P 500 as well for myself. Okay. Further downside, in my opinion, we saw the downside come in a few days ago on Friday, Thursday. Expect it to come back down to 65. If it doesn't, I'm probably going to be looking to go long some oil stocks. And I've mentioned a few of those in the previous videos. So if you guys want to go and watch, you can watch the previous videos. I've mentioned all of this before. I've already predicted this price action move and all these other factors. Okay. Gold. Let's go to gold. One of the assets I want to cover, metals. Expecting metals. I was expecting metals to do this price movement. You can go and watch my reels. You can go and watch my YouTube videos where I expected this move to come up back here around the 2,650, 2,700. Then I expect another dip to these lower levels around 2,500 before we go higher and we get a potential move back to all-time highs and even 3,000, which is the aim with gold for myself. Silver. With silver, we saw that rise in price. We're getting some resistance here around the 20 moving average. And again, in line with what I've predicted in terms of price action. Reason why I predicted this price action, key resistance here, turning support into resistance, and then comes back down, creates more support before it creates higher highs, and then we move into new highs overall. Okay. And then finally, I want to cover dollar. We mentioned the dollar seasonality. Now is due a correction. I think a correction is probably going to happen right now because we're seeing this bearish divergence here on the RSI. Price moving to higher highs. We get bearish divergence. It hit this level of resistance here. Then I expect a dip, maybe another rise, and then a final dip that will come all the way down. It's 103 on the dollar index here. Trade here, guys. If you do trade forex, I don't often trade forex here, but if you are going to trade forex, look to short the euro. Look to short the dollar, the euro, play the pound, play the yen. They're going to show strength now in the next few days and weeks, in my opinion. So obviously be careful when you enter the trades. Just rely on the dollar index, but that's the trade, that's the play. So keep an eye out on those onto dollar plays there. Okay. And finally, let's go more into energy here. Natural gas, I've already mentioned. I don't think this is kind of flat price action here to watch out for. Cow was one of those that I mentioned recently as a potential buy, and I didn't buy it personally, but I mentioned it 4 days ago. I want to see what it's doing here, if it's moving in the direction that I predicted. Okay, so nice move here. I think a slight dip, and then we could probably see some upside or a little bit of a deeper dip to 7,760 and then move up higher. Okay, that's it. 10-year yields. 10-year yields is the final one I want to cover. I always try and cover this. But with the 10-year yields, now we're seeing that dip that I was expecting in the last 4 days. Again, guys, predicted. And you could have watched my channel the last few days. Even go back and watch it. You'll see that we've already seen where the levels were going to be and why it was going to come back down. Drawings here are telling us everything. If it was going to go higher, we were going to hit this 4.62 level. But I just don't see it without it dipping back down. Okay, a little bit, at least a little bit. Finding support somewhere around here. Okay, that's all the broad market analysis done. Now I want to go into crypto. So go into Bitcoin, Ethereum. Then I want to go into some ideas and my thoughts on crypto at the moment. So with Bitcoin, as you guys can tell, this price action here, and as I mentioned yesterday in the last few days, we're now seeing a slight consolidation here with slight leaning towards a dip to 80k within this ascending channel, or a dip and then a quick buy up, and then we'll move back up to 120k. Okay, that's what I'm expecting as a bare minimum here. I do expect a slight dip. If I don't get that dip, I am in a long trade, so it doesn't really matter to me. It's just for long-term trading. I'd rather accumulate a little bit more. But in my swing trade, I am up around 30%. So either way, it does not matter to me. This is a hedge. I'll be taking a hedge position here, then rebuying some more for that long trade towards 100. A really ideal scenario for me, though, is a retest of this previous resistance level. I've seen this resist about 5 or 6 times before. If we get a retest of this and turn this into support, then I think the likelihood of us going to 120K becomes even higher, because we're also going to get more buyers coming into the market. In terms of other crypto, this is a general analysis for Bitcoin, and the RSI is quite high here. It does need a bit of a retracement. The cryptos, Ethereum, I mentioned that Ethereum had a lot of inflows, as you can see here in the price. So a lot of outflows during this period here, August, September, around this level. This is when the institutions were accumulating. Then a breakout. We've entered that trade here, part of my Telegram group and also my private members group. And we anticipated this dip all the way down to 2,800. Bare minimum is the 3,000 level, which is already tested that level. So I think now, with what's happening today in terms of the price action, we could get that dip to around 2,800. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Other coins, your coin is doing really well for me today. Momentum moving up higher. Anticipate this one to be a 100% plus move in the market, especially with the way that this runs historically. At the moment, I'm up about, I think about 25%, 30% on this, just like most of the market, except Cardano, which is up around 100%. And very, very strong here with Cardano. 100% move on this one. New ideas that I saw today were, if I remember them correctly, if it's to load for some reason, it's quite slow. One of the new ideas I have two others that I shared in my Telegram group, but one of the new ideas is Shadow Token. As you can see here, guys, since it was listed on Coinbase, it's just been on a complete destruction in terms of the price action. And one of the things I like about this is we have multiple retests of this area here. Okay. This seems to me like a bottom area. Finally, what's happening is we had a little bit of a pump here around late October, then a dip. That happened with the overall market. And now I'm anticipating a breakout now with further momentum coming in from the rest of the market. So I'm watching this very carefully. It's not an entry right now. It is an entry probably around 40 cents, 30, 36, 37. A breakout, we're seeing some momentum come in. And there's other factors that I'm looking at in terms of, you know, where price will break out. I think if it breaks out above this level, then it becomes very, very interesting. And we can make, let's see here, the risk reward ratio. We can make on this one, bare minimum, we're making is around 62%. We're probably looking more like 88% with a 1 to 2, 1 to 3 risk reward, depending on where you enter and where your stop loss is. Okay, but 1 to 2 risk reward on this one for me. I like this quite a lot. I think it was G. And if you guys want to check these out, I have shared them for free in the Telegram group. Okay, so I have a free Telegram group. There are multiple ideas there. There's actually gel USD. See this one quickly. This one is slightly better. Okay, again, what I love about this one, completely destroyed in the last 6 months, 6 to 8 months. And at the moment, we've had an initial price to move higher. Now we have a nice consolidation around this level. Okay. And you also probably see let's break above this area with momentum in the next few days and weeks. As you can see today is up 11%. If the momentum move comes in here, risk reward on this, in my opinion, just to this previous high, is 1 to 4 with a retest of this 0.41 level. Okay. So this is one that you should be watching if you're looking to trade some random coins, because all the major coins have already moved. These ones are now due a move. This is a key coin that can do really well. Okay. Okay, now let's go into stocks. Okay. Yesterday I mentioned that I was going to take some put options against IonQ. Okay. And we traded IonQ on the dip. Just look at where IonQ is right now and show you guys how we traded it on the dip. Okay. So we basically saw an overextension here. I am in a long position in IonQ. Okay, so bear in mind that I am in a long position. I took the put option as a hedge here. I am in a position where I was up 81%. I took a put option around this area here on the dip, and I made 200% on just that put option. Okay. and then I'm expecting the price to come back down to 20. I might buy another put option to 20. Then price will go back up, hopefully on the trend. But it looked very, very overbought here, and I was trying to hedge against my long-term swing trade. You can go and check out my Telegram group. We already mentioned it there. I already mentioned it here in the video yesterday, so you can go and check that video out as well, just so you know, verify all the trades that I've shared, and I share with you guys over and over again. Now, in terms of ideas, looking day, I was looking at much in terms of ideas, but I was looking at Target. Okay? Looking at Target, just waiting for this to load. It's very, very slow for some reason. Okay, Target. Let's go to Target, and with Target, we will see. I think that we can get a nice breakout above with Target, a nice momentum move there to go higher. So Target, I like the consolidation here around this level. Okay, this is a nice level. I like this consolidation, this wedge. We could see another dip, and these are coming up as well. Another dip, and then move up higher. Target looks really nice, and then dollar, it also looks very nice. So what we're seeing is we're actually seeing opportunities in the budget retail sector. Okay, the Target, maybe even TJ Maxx might be interesting. I'll check that one out as well. That's what I'm watching here, because I'm just taking a trade on a Dollar Tree. Also, very, very low here. I trade on Dollar Tree. Yeah, Dollar Tree very, very low here. And I love the fact that it's fallen this much. One of the key things I love about this is this double bottom here. And also it's tested it multiple times recently. So it's looking like we can get a move higher. And I think the upside on this is around 20%. On the breakout, it's around 20%. Dollar Tree looks very, very nice to me. I like these moves that come out from the bottom. The momentum will kick in eventually. We'll get a nice move, and then we will probably do really well with the momentum. Okay, this is how I make big. I think we can get 20%, around here, 1 to 3, 1 to 2, and we can even go a little bit higher to around 50%, 1 to 4 here. That's the zone that I'm looking for on Dollar Tree here. Okay, so Target and Dollar Tree, two good ideas. A number of other ideas that I shared in my previous video yesterday, especially with Chinese stocks. I shared Barber, Baidu, Li, a few other opportunities. With oil stocks, I also mentioned a few oil stocks yesterday and the last few days, so go and check those videos out. If you don't have time to check out the videos, you can always go and check out the Telegram group where I share the ideas there as well. In terms of the opportunities, what I like is the euro dollar. Okay, so I want to look at the euro dollar really quickly here with you guys, just because I like where the dollar is, and I think that historically we get that dip coming into new administration in the US. Okay, so the dollar might dip, giving us a nice opportunity here for okay, so euro dollar in a few minutes, very, very slow here. As you can see, the dollar's been the euro has been completely destroyed against the dollar. Okay, few weeks and months, I think about a month now, month and a half, completely destroyed. You're shorting the euro, you're going to do really, really well. What I'm looking for right now, though, is the reversal trade. The reversal trade is looking around this area here. Move some of these previous drawings. And what I'm looking for is probably a retest of this area above, maybe on a breakout above this area. Draw that again. So we get back into the zone, and we get a breakout above, and we go higher to 1 to 3 risk reward ratio here on this reversal trade. This is something that I'll be watching out for in the next few days and weeks. But overall, the market now is dipping. So what I'm seeing here in the market, and I've just taken some puts, a trade, and yeah, so we'll see how it goes, but that's basically it. Okay, guys, and if you want to look at these ideas again, go and follow and subscribe to all of my social medias.